No one has more state pride than New Mexicans. The vibrant culture, bold flavors, unique history, and dramatic landscapes under our Zia sun are like no other. And the people of New Mexico are a rare breed. As diverse as we are, together we breathe life and soul into this high desert land. A land that promises adventure. I'm Michael Newman, and as your host, I'll be taking you with me as I seek out the best the land of enchantment has to offer.
New Mexico, it feels like home to me. It feels so true. It's time well spent when I spend it with you.
Thanks for tuning in for another episode of New Mexico True Television. I'm your host, Michael Newman. This week, we're venturing along the Trail of the Ancients to enjoy some modern-day adventures. Weaving along this route through the upper western portion of the state, we go mountain biking among the hoodoos of Gallup, wine tasting on the banks of the San Juan, and exploring the badlands of the Bisti. And that's just the beginning. Just 36 miles south of Farmington off New Mexico Highway 371 South is the Bisti de Nazin Wilderness, also known as Bisti Badlands. This stunning and surreal landscape of the Four Corners region is one of the most unique and otherworldly terrains you can find in our state, and I cannot wait to check it out. Upon entering the gate to the Bisti, you won't find a trailhead, but instead, the vast barren land that allows you to choose your own direction. And with no one else in sight, I feel like I have the entirety of this arid wilderness to myself. The dry, cracked earth is surprisingly soft beneath my feet and should be perfect for a day's exploration on foot. What I'm really loving about this place is that it's so accessible from the road where you can just park your car. You can just hike for miles and treading your own path. It's like no one has been there before, and there's just so much open land. And I also read that this was ancient delta land where old crocodiles and alligators and lizards used to roam. And now you can actually find fossils, and a lot of dinosaurs are still in this rock where they actually excavate every single year and find new dinosaurs that have only been in this area. You can't find them anywhere else in the world. The further I get into the Bisti, its existence as a swampy and lush landscape providing a rich and abundant habitat for dinosaurs and other prehistoric life forms, bears a stark contrast to the strange and desolate land I am traversing now. This is amazing! I mean it. I can honestly say that I have never seen anything like this. Take one step where man has never stepped before. I felt like that was appropriate. That feels like I'm on the moon. While I have no doubt of the beauty in prehistoric times, the formations of today are pretty mind-blowing. Like I'm actually standing on lava right now. Don't let my analogy fool you. Unlike other badlands in our state created by molten material, this landscape is actually comprised of sandstone, shale, mudstone, coal, and silt. These sedimentary rocks are rich in fossils displaying the animal life that once roamed this terrain, as well as a plethora of other treasures you are sure to find as you explore. Maybe like obsidian or something? I don't know. Looks like there's some quartz. I just randomly walked by that, and you can buy this in the store for like 20 bucks or something. I don't know. It's beautiful. But you gotta give it back to nature. Yes, I abide by the codes of the wilderness. Take nothing but pictures, leave nothing but footprints. That is a motto I can believe in. In the Bisti, leaving footprints is the fun part anyway. And before I know it, my feet have led me into a maze of hoodoos. Formations that have been weathered into pinnacles, spires, cap rocks, and other indefinable configurations. The hoodoo name itself evokes the mysterious nature of these rocks, and their statuesque and towering features not only command awe and respect, but feed my intrinsic and growing curiosity of this place. I'm playing like I'm an archaeologist looking for some fossils. I think I found something. Nope, I'm not that lucky. But despite my shortcomings as an archaeologist, I'm still fortunate enough to be a more passive participant here. The views alone will give me plenty of material to reminisce on. You know, I've only heard about the Bisti Badlands and only seen pictures, but actually being here is completely different than what I thought it was going to be. You really feel like you're not on Earth, and you can blaze your own path. Like, who doesn't want to do that? After leaving the hoodoos, I make my way to another grove of formations, quite appropriately named if I do say so myself. The land of cracked eggs. What a name. That's so cool. While I've seen my share of rock formations in our state, I can honestly say that these guys are a first for me. They look like actual sculptures, like somebody made these by hand. That is so cool. They have individual grooves, like fingers would just mix through it. Color me impressed. Even without marked trails, no matter what path you take, this is a land where you are sure to encounter the peculiar, the unusual, the fascinating, and ultimately insanely rich geology. So if you ever get an inkling to walk on another planet, but you're limited to Earth, come to Bistai Badlands. You won't be disappointed. With such an open landscape, it's really easy to get lost, so make sure you keep track of where your car is. There aren't many places to stop around, so you may want to stop in Farmington or Crown Point for water and snacks. If you have time, I would plan to camp overnight so you can see these surreal formations at different times of day. And if you do, make sure you have enough water because there's nowhere to get water out there. And of course, bring your camera. Take a dose of pastoral beauty, add a few charming ladies, and a cup or two of great wine, and you have a recipe for enchantment coming up. Do you take a lot of pictures on your New Mexico travels? Well, if you do, show us by hashtagging New Mexico True on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. 3 hours northwest of Albuquerque and under 30 miles outside of Farmington, on New Mexico 511 North, is Wines of the San Juan. Set in the valley of the San Juan River, under cliffs of sandstone casting a warm orange hue, is a picturesque and peaceful vineyard. The subtly verdant nature of this locale lends itself well to the grapes of the award-winning family-run Wines of the San Juan. This winery and tasting room are tucked within the Cottonwood Grove where the Arnold family dog Purdy and her winged companions welcome you into their pastoral paradise. I, for one, was immediately seduced. Oh, and let's not forget the promise of some great wine. In the tasting room, you'll see the array of wines his grassroots operation has been cranking out, earning prestigious awards along the way. And on the patio, you'll find ample seating to savor them. Lucky for me, while I was meandering about, my friends Celeste and Corey grabbed us a table. What do we have here?
We've got a couple of different wines for you. I'm bringing out the whites first. So what we're going to start off with is our Chardonnay.
Brittany certainly knows how to make an introduction. This lightly oaked Chardonnay with a hint of pear is a great opening number, but it was the Pinot Gris that really piqued my interest.
Some tangerine and lemongrass.
Tangerine, that's one of my favorite fruits, so.
Yeah, great then.
That's great.
Perfect.
At the mention of tangerine, my mind began racing with the possible pairings in cuisine. I'm thinking some pad thai, or maybe even a yellow curry. But I'd certainly have no problem enjoying it all on its own. Yes, the supple flavors of the wine and my lovely company are definitely lulling me into the right state of mind. But it was little Ruby, Brittany and the winemaker's daughter, that really stole my heart. Seriously? As if this place wasn't enchanting enough.
I brought our Cabernet, 2011 Cabernet. Yeah.
Is it kind of full-bodied?
It's full-bodied, full-bodied fruit forward. Every year, every vintage is different. So we kind of just like the grapes to do what they want to do, you know? And we like to help bring out their best qualities. So that's what's going on.
They have individual personalities.
Yeah, exactly. None of our wines have any artificial colors or flavorings, so it's all true to the fruit is our style, true to the fruit.
I dig that.
Yeah.
True to the fruit.
Yeah, that's right, no other way.
So has this place been here for a while?
We have, we've been here since 2001.
Okay.
We started and it was all just sagebrush, a little rickety, half broken down for sale sign on the driveway, and David had been looking around for a place to grow grapes, found this. We've got the cliffs, we've got the river, and
Right.
it kind of works. Yeah, we're forging away.
Especially like coming, going to Navajo Lake or going, fly fishing. This is a perfect contrast to that kind of experience. You're like, okay, late afternoon, time to relax.
We see a lot of the wives come over when their husbands are fly fishing. They come over and they drive swings and read a book.
You're in the perfect location for that.
Yeah, it's perfect.
This is like comparable to like Georgia O'Keeffe country, I would say,
right.
Ishan. Like the cottonwoods, the peacocks, the cliffs, like
Yeah.
you guys have all the qualities of that here. So.
Yeah, I agree. I absolutely agree.
So do you have a cot or something I can stay in?
We do.
Okay.
Yeah, we can
Just keep the wine flowing though.
We'll find something. It will work out. We'll find something.
All joking aside, the girls convinced me to put off my nap to enjoy the on-site pond. Ultimately, the perfect spot to dig into the picnicking provisions we had packed. Already accustomed to the charm of the winery, it comes as no surprise to see other inhabitants of this place indulging in their own picnic on the banks of the pond.
There we go, guys.
Nothing like eating al fresco while sipping wine under the cottonwoods, the sun setting in the distance. One more reason we are known as the land of enchantment. Along the Mother Road are some great off-road experiences. Don't go away. Gallup sits at the very western edge of our state, 2 hours west of Albuquerque on I-40. Because of its proximity to the Navajo Reservation, Gallup has long been a gateway to the cultural riches of these American Indian lands. But more recently, Gallup has been getting its due acclaim for the incredible outdoor adventures you can have on the outskirts of town, among them, mountain biking. I'm meeting up with local cyclist Andy to get more acquainted with the trail system here.
Well, thanks, Andy, for meeting up with me at this trail, man. What is it about this trail that you like?
The cool thing about this trail is there's two trailheads, one on the east side of town, one on the west side of town. This trail is 100% single track, which is pretty unique, I think. We've got 25 miles of single track.
Oh, wow.
And it's a stacked loop system, which means you can do the first mesa loop on the east side of town, which is beginner friendly. You can go on and add on the second mesa loop, which just is a little more technical. And then third mesa, where we are, is the most fun.
Difficult / fun.
Yeah.
But good. It's, you know, and this landscape is gorgeous because you have a lot of the valleys and peaks. So I'm stoked. I'm stoked. Cool. So let's hit it. Right. I'm following you though, because I'm still a bit of a novice, but you know this better than I do.
All right. Follow me.
Yes, sir.
It's remarkable how you can take a short road off the main street in town and end up in the middle of this landscape. Hoodoos and rock formations abound, and almost serve as landmarks along the trail. Nothing like a good workout while immersed in the stunning scenery of the high desert. There are definitely some technical spots and a good amount of climbing to get to the top of the mesa. This is not for the faint of heart, and if I did not have Andy as my stalwart guide, I may have opted out for one of the more moderate trails, but I'm always up for a challenge, and it's good to get out of my comfort zone.
Oh yeah, what a view, man.
Yep.
This is well worth the windedness that I am right now. This is cool. You can see the whole city from here.
Yeah.
That's
It's the west end of town, and we rode the cream of the crop right here. Yep.
It was treacherous at times, and sometimes it was smooth, but all in all, it was totally worth it. This is, like I said, this is a different side of Gallup I've never seen from this vantage point, you know?
Mm-hmm.
That's awesome. Thank you so much
for
guiding the way, because I don't know if I could have made it up here without you.
And now you have to come back and ride it again.
Oh, yeah.
An absolute must on your visit to the Northwest is making it out to the Navajo Nation's Four Corners Monument. Though remote, this is an extremely popular destination and the only one of its kind. Here, the borders of New Mexico, Colorado, Utah, and Arizona all come together, making it possible for you to stand in all 4 states at once. This is the only place in the country where you can do this, and people from all over the world come to this spot, with cameras in tow, to document this once-in-a-lifetime experience.
This is like the must take a picture moment, right? So I'm thinking, what can I do that hasn't been done before in this exact spot? I'm trying to be creative. I'm going to be creative.
I wait for my moment to jump in.
You're probably not going to expect this. I now have a limb in every part of 4 states.
4 limbs in 4 states? I'd say my visit to the Four Corners is complete. And now, here's another New Mexico true treasure.
If you love nature the way I love nature, you've got to check out Valles Caldera National Preserve. It was just stunning. It was like a green carpet rolling out in front of me. It's also very solitary, and so very much an introspective experience. I actually don't know if they limit the number of people. They limit the number of cars that go into Valles Caldera. And so you're really assured this quality experience. And you can, hike in or bike in. There's people fishing. When I've been outside in nature in other states or countries, I was always sharing that space and what should be like a really solitary, in my mind, experience in nature with hundreds and thousands of other people. And so to be at Valles Caldera and have virtually the whole place to myself was so special.
Stay tuned to get in on the action at the historic Crown Point Rug Auction. Sign up to receive monthly newsletters about events and happenings around the state at newmexico.org. Just over 2 hours northwest of Albuquerque off New Mexico 371 is the town of Crown Point. Every month, the town hosts the Crown Point Rug Auction, an event that has drawn people to this remote locale of the Navajo Nation for over 50 years. With the town's long history as a meeting place and point of trade for the Navajo people, the significance of the Crown Point Rug Auction and its role as a stronghold for the Navajo community is undeniable. Here, the advantages play out on both sides. The purchase of these rugs provides income for the artisans, while at the same time gives buyers the opportunity to bid on some of the most exquisite rugs in the Southwest, and for prices that cannot be beat anywhere else. I must admit, while I'm not in the market to buy a rug myself, there's no way I would miss a chance to attend this legendary auction. This is the real deal. Even if you are not bidding, the experience of being at this auction is an authentic and exciting way to immerse yourself in a rich tradition. Many of the motifs and designs harken back to the early 20th century. Influenced by the traders of the region, the rugs became identifiable by their patterns and colors. Crystals with their horizontal bands and wavy lines, chinlays distinct bands of diamonds and chevrons, and yay rugs depicting religious deities are just a few I am seeing tonight. Already, I am in awe of the magnificent rugs being presented on stage. The designs and craftsmanship are stunning. And to think the weavers rarely diagram these patterns, but rather visualize the designs in their heads, adds to my amazement. Traditionally, weaving has been the craft of Navajo women, an art that has been passed down from mothers to their daughters. In speaking with many of the people here tonight, I have not met a woman yet whose mother does not weave.
My mom is a rug weaver. And my grandmother was a rug weaver.
I see a lot of women wearing this red coral. Is that significant for a specific reason?
There was a founder here that started the rug auction. She was a trader, Lavone Palmer, very beautiful lady. She was known as Hasta Yoshichi, and that stands for Lady Red Beads. And so this evening I wanted to wear my coral necklace in memory of her. And her daughters are all here. They're all wearing their coral necklaces. That's what their mom wore every day, no matter what. She wore those beads, red coral beads.
Lavone Palmer is obviously held in high regard in the Crown Point community, and I feel fortunate to be here for the auction's 50th anniversary. But Lavone wasn't the only woman behind this operation. I find out her friend Pauline also had a role in founding the auction, and Pauline is here tonight. Can you tell me the story of how it came to be?
Lavone Palmer, she was our trader here at Crown Point. She told me one day, she says, Pauline, I have a room full of rugs. So she took me to that room. It was about 12 by 12. The rugs were stacked all the way to the ceiling. Everyone. There was only standing room left. And she says, what are we going to do? I can't buy rugs anymore because I'm full. And there's no market for it. She said, what do you think we should do? And I said, well, let me think about it. A couple of days later, I came back. She was at the cash register, and I slapped that counter, and I said, hey, how about an auction? The first auction we had, I literally went out to the weavers and told them what we were planning, and I asked them to help us.
Right.
They were very leery as to what I was talking about, and said people will raise their hand, and if they want your rug, they keep raising their hand, making it higher and higher.
That doesn't make sense if you've never seen an auction before, right?
One lady came, when she came, Lavone says, Pauline, I paid her $3 for rugs like that. I said, I'm gonna put a minimum of $4 for her. I said, okay. So when the auction started, she sold her rug for $11.
And then she was a believer.
It's hard to believe that only 50 years ago, these rugs would sell for a mere $11, when today's market easily commands figures in the thousands. Handmade, locally made, values still held in high regard. These rugs will stand the test of time in more ways than one. Since the conception of this auction, Navajo textiles are finally earning their due. And as a New Mexican and someone who relishes our native art and culture, I must offer my praises to Pauline and Lavone for their role in saving Navajo textiles from extinction and elevating them to the status they enjoy now. The Crown Point Rug Auction happens on the second Friday of every month, usually, but best to check before you go. Oh, and there's no lodging in Crown Point, and the auction can run late into the night, so you may want to book a room in nearby Gallup or Grants for the night. And lastly, they do not take credit cards. They prefer cash or traveler's checks, but will accept personal checks. Glad you were able to join us for our journey along the Trail of the Ancients, and like me, are taken by the diversity of experiences to be had along this route. And with that being said, what are you doing next weekend?